Hi, Tanner Richard Craft here with Bomb Squad Productions, and I'm really excited for this video we're about to getting into right here. Anyone who knows me or is a fan of this channel knows I love movies. I love movies so much, and I try to go out of my way to watch as many movies as I possibly can. And this past year was probably the best example of that possible. In 2021, I saw 123 new release movies. Not new to me, like first-time watches, but the movie itself is old. No, 123 proper first-time watches. So, I'm here to rank the top 25 movies of 2021, in my opinion. Now, that may seem like a lot. Most people do top 10 or top 15 at the absolute most, but I'm extra like that. I saw a lot of movies, and a lot of them I really, really loved, and I wanted to make sure I could spread the joy, spread the wealth, so to say. Starting with Red Rocket. Oh man, I was excited for this one from the second I saw the trailer. Sean Baker, the director of the movie, has always been a director I've been really interested and fascinated by. I really like his hyper-realistic style in his films. I think it adds an interesting flavor, an interesting texture, and I think it helps bring attention to maybe the type of stories you don't see very often. This one being no exception. A movie about a porn star, a male one, who is so down on his luck that not even the porn industry wants him anymore. And I feel like that speaks volume in of itself. This is one of the funniest movies of the year. It is really hilarious. Not just in terms of the screenplay or the literal script itself and how that's funny. No, just the way the camera will operate. There's just one shot that happens right after a sex scene that is maybe the funniest shot I saw in a movie all year. It's just absolutely hilarious. Those who have seen it know what I'm talking about. And if you have seen it and you don't know what I'm talking about, message me on Twitter. I'll explain. It's really funny, and I think the standout here is the performances in general are all great, but Simon Rex as the main character, Mikey Saber, is a revelation. Probably best known for being the white rapper in Scary Movie 2 or 3. I think 3.
You just hate me because I'm black.
Best known for being that, to bring this kind of really nuanced performance, full of depth, full of these little character intricacies, is incredibly impressive, and I'm really glad that Sean Baker gave him this kind of opportunity, because he worked wonders with it. Will he be nominated at the Oscars? Probably not. I don't think he's going to be. But that doesn't matter. It's still one of my favorite performances of the year. He's really fantastic in it. The movie's really funny, and I think this is my favorite Sean Baker movie yet. I don't know what he's got in store next, but if it's even half as good as Red Rocket is, I'm sure I'm going to really, really love it. The Power of the Dog. Probably the current frontrunner for Best Picture at the Oscars. It's probably the most critically acclaimed movie of the year, both by critics, by award societies, by the guilds, I think. Everyone loves The Power of the Dog, and I do too. It's not my favorite of the year. No, it's only the 24th favorite, but that's still really, really good. I really, really liked The Power of the Dog. I loved it. Jane Campion is a master at the craft. She is such an incredibly gifted filmmaker. With the camera, she is such an expert. It almost has an ocean-like current to it, the way the camera flows throughout the scenes almost. It's truly masterful, and you're always paying attention. Even when it's something small, subtle movements, you're always sort of locked in and paying attention because it's so meticulous, it's so detailed, it's so exact. But at the same time, it feels free, it feels loose. It's an incredible balancing act that it's both incredibly free but incredibly tight at the same time. And the movie's anchored by what I think is one of the best screenplays of the year, also by Jane Campion, and by some of the best acting I've seen in the movie all year. Let's get maybe the big ticket item out of the way first. Benedict Cumberbatch in the lead. This is probably my favorite leading performance from him. I typically like him more in supporting roles. Nothing against his talent. I just think he usually shines when he's playing more weirder, interesting characters. But the main character in this one's weird and interesting, and sort of against type, so to say, like a lot of people are saying, but that's kind of the point. Phil, the character he's playing, doesn't belong in this boot, in this lifestyle he's trying to wear. But really, the standout performances to me were Cody Smith McPhee and Kirsten Dunst. Kirsten Dunst doesn't have a ton of screen time, but she does such wonders with it in the little time that she has. And Cody Smith McPhee, oh my god, this is the guy that I think played Nightcrawler in the newer X-Men movies, but he is so good here. It's so subtle, but nuanced and tiny. He says so much with just a glance. It's really one of the, not just like one of the best supporting performances all year. It's just one of the best performances all year, period. A lot of people think it's going to take Best Supporting Actor at the Oscars. I tend to agree. Is it my favorite supporting performance? I don't know. I haven't really ranked it out like that yet. But it's definitely up there for me, and he's really incredible on it. It's on Netflix. Go check it out right now. I'm Your Man. Oh, wow. I was excited for this one from the second I saw the trailer for it. Why? I'm not sure. There was something about the vibes of it all, you know? The vibes were right. It felt good. The vibes were there. And when I finally got the chance to see it in a theater, I might add, it did not disappoint. I don't even know where to start with this one. I think the standout thing about this movie to me was Dan Stevens. That's probably the name you recognize. You probably know him best for playing Beast in the live-action Beauty and the Beast remake. Where he's fine there. That movie is fine. This movie is more than fine. This one is exceptional. Dan Stevens gives one of the best performances I've seen of playing like a robotic AI type character that I would put like right up beside the big hitters like Scarlett Johansson and her. He is so incredible in this movie, which makes it all the more impressive that his co-star, Maren Eggert, is matching him almost every step of the way. She is truly exceptional in her own right. Maria Schrader, writer-director, crafts a fascinating narrative that sort of explores what is love? What is love? What is romance? Is it love if it's a robot? Is it fake? Should love be something you have to work for, earn, and not just handed to you on a silver platter? And I think the film is pretty clear in its answers to that. I'm not going to say them myself. But it's really such an amazing movie. It has a fascinating premise with the AI lover thing. And it's so good. It's really so good. I'm a sucker for like low-key sci-fi movies that are clearly sci-fi, but they're not super advanced, that it's just enough like the world we know, but with a few more technological advancements. And this movie really fits in that category. It is probably one of the most underseen movies of the year. I don't hear a lot of people talking about this one, and maybe that just says something about the circles I run with. But I really wish this movie got more attention because it really does deserve that kind of attention. It really is that great. So please, if you have the opportunity, I think it's on video on demand. So if you have the time and if you have the money, please go check it out. I promise you will not regret it. The Night House. Ooh. Yeah. If you've listened to the podcast we already did on this one, it's a bonus podcast, you'll know in general what I think about this movie, but I'll just kind of reiterate it here in brief. It was the most terrifying movie of the year for me. It's not my favorite horror movie. That's a different movie we'll get into in a few minutes here. But it's the one that scared me the most. It has such a terrifying, chilling atmosphere. Director David Bruckner crafts this tone, this atmosphere that just is so chilling, and it leaves you on the edge of your seat the entire time, and you never quite feel comfortable. It feels like the surroundings around you are terrifying. And just, gives me the heebie-jeebies just thinking about it. And I think what really helps make this movie take it to the next level beyond just the scary atmosphere is the lead performance from Rebecca Hall. Rebecca Hall really wasn't on my radar until this year, which is crazy, because now that I realized I've seen her in a bunch of stuff, oh my god, this has to be one of the most talented people working in Hollywood right now. She is such a gifted actress. She can do so much with a glance, with just a look, a quiver of the lip. She portrays this depressed character, lost someone, is being haunted, a real myriad, a real wide range of emotions, and she nails them all so brilliantly. Again, if you want to hear me elaborate more, go check out the podcast. But that podcast is, I warned you, spoilerific. It is spoilerific. So please, go out and see the movie first. I promise you, you will not regret it. It's only like an hour and 40 minutes. It's not that long. Go give it a shot. Luca! Oh man, the first animated movie on our list, and it is a really great one. Pixar, between this year and last year with Soul, has been really hitting hard lately. I don't love this one quite as much as I love Soul, because Soul was my favorite movie of 2020, but Luca is a really exceptional, special movie. I love it. It's cute, it's cute. It has these characters you want to fall in love with, and you do fall in love with, and it is probably, personally as a bisexual man, it is clearly a queer allegory of some kind, and to see a big mainstream studio like Pixar handle that kind of story and doing it with, I think, grace and doing it incredibly well, you just gotta love it. It's a really heartwarming movie, get you in the feels type movie, gorgeous to look at, just gorgeous to look at. It's a real feast for the eyes. Pixar, I think, is finally starting to step outside that generic Pixar look for their characters. This movie seems to take advantage of the fact that it's a cartoon. It looks cartoony, and I mean that in a great way. It's really, really special. I really enjoyed it. It's on Disney Plus right now, so you should go check it out. Alright? Go! The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Yes, this one might shock a fair number of you. What? That's a generic biopic, however you say the word. And I most certainly understand that critique, but to me, this one was really unique for a biopic. It added this really, comedic tone, which makes a lot of sense considering Michael Showalter is probably best known for directing The Big Sick before this, which is a sort of rom-com movie. And this movie is a biopic, yes, but it's really funny, and it seems to treat its characters like the goofy cartoon characters that they were in real life. Tammy Faye Bakker and Jim Bakker were cartoon characters. They were televangelists. Have you seen a televangelist do their thing? They're real big and expressive, and they say, if you don't give me your money now, that Satan will damn you to all hell. They're real animated and cartoony, and Michael Showalter really gets that. So it plays this careful balancing act of being serious and goofy, and it plays it perfectly. It nails that balance, and this is helped by its two primary performances. Andrew Garfield as Jim Bakker. We're going to talk about Garfield a lot today, so keep that name in mind. Andrew Garfield's Jim Bakker is great. He looks like a little man trying to fit into his grandfather's clothes, and again, I mean that with a good way, because Jim Bakker felt like he was a man desperately trying to fit into everything, into his clothes even. And it's really fitting, but of course, Jessica Chastain. It's my favorite leading performance from a woman this year. It's my favorite leading actress performance. Yes, I mean that. I like it more than Kristen Stewart in Spencer. I like it more than Jennifer Hudson in Respect. I like it more than all of those. So, this is just a remarkable, amazing performance. It's manages to avoid feeling like outright mimicry. It feels like she's embodying this character of Tammy Faye, but there's layers to it. There's this layer that she sort of shows to the outside world. There's this layer she shows to her husband. There's this layer she only shows to her mom. There's this layer that she only shows to herself. But the differences between these layers are so incredibly subtle, small, but Jessica Chastain is able to nail it all perfectly. It's probably her best performance, at least in my opinion. It's really, really good. The movie in general is really great, and Michael Showalter and Jessica Chastain, I think, are your two keys to that greatness. Go check it out. A Quiet Place Part 2. Now, this is my favorite horror movie of the year. I've done an entire review of this movie already, so I'll link that down below, so you can go ahead and check that out. I'll probably link a whole playlist full of all of the instances of me talking about movies that I talk about in this list. But to sum it up briefly, John Krasinski, I think, crafts a sequel that is superior to the original. It doubles down on everything that made the first movie great while getting rid of any of potential annoyances. It raises the stakes, everything seems bigger, but the family is still the focus. The family is still what's important. The scares are there. Is it as scary as The Night House? No, but the things it does better, like the family drama and just the heart. I cried during this movie. Is just really special. It's a really special movie. It's a rare example of a sequel better than the original, and I think John Krasinski completely nailed it, and I, for one, cannot wait to see what he does next as a director. Check it out. Language lessons. Oh man, this one is really unique and special. It's a movie that takes place entirely over Zoom calls, essentially. I think it might have even been filmed that way too. Which sounds crazy. How can a movie like that be interesting? What advantage of the cinematic medium is it taking? Well, who cares? It made me feel things, and ultimately that's what matters in art, is it makes you feel things, and this movie made me feel a lot of things. Director Natalie Morales, who also directed Plan B that came out also last year, haven't seen that one, I really need to, is able to craft an incredibly engaging narrative along with co-writer and co-star Mark Duplass. It's just really heartwarming, It's not a romantic story, it's a story of friendship. The most unexpected of friendships, and how that kind of beautiful friendship can blossom from anywhere, and that love is powerful. Platonic love is powerful. It is really, really powerful. I think the key standout to the movie are the two lead performances from Mark Duplass and Natalie Morales. They are both exceptional in this movie. They have remarkable chemistry, and it's just a really sweet, cute, special movie. Like I said, it's just really unique. And I think the gimmick of being entirely Zoom call adds to the movie, if anything. Because you know what? We've all been on lockdown for like 3 years, okay? So yeah, there's something to be said about blossoming friendships over a video call. It just feels more real now. What can I say? It's a really great movie. I really recommend you check it out. So go do it now. Or later. Finish watching the video first, actually. The Suicide Squad! Again, we've done a podcast on this one, so I will link to the playlist below that will contain all the movies I've already talked about elsewhere on the channel. But to just sum it up in brief, writer-director James Gunn delivers an incredibly heartwarming, beautiful narrative about unexpected friendships and about learning to love oneself and learning to trust other people, that at the same time is incredibly funny, has some of the most engaging action sequences all year in a movie, and is just an absolute blast to watch. It has heart, it has humor, it is a perfect blend of both. Nobody does it better than James Gunn in that respect. It's an absolute blast. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out on HBO Max. Later, though, after the video. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Again, we've already done a podcast on this one. It'll be linked below, but I'll sum it up in brief. Some of the best action sequences in an MCU movie, maybe even just the best, period. It's a really great kung fu movie made by Americans. Director Destin Daniel Cretton adds a lot of heart to the movie, along with co-writer Dave Callahan. They bring a lot to this movie. I think Shang-Chi, Simu Liu's Shang-Chi, is a great addition to the Marvel Universe, and I think he's a really fun lead role who's able to nail this balance between comedy, but also, the sad drama stuff. He's an excellent leading man, and I am so grateful that Marvel gave him this opportunity to shine like this. But of course, the star of the show is Tony Leung, who is, in my opinion, the best actor on the planet, gracing his presence to a Hollywood movie, a Marvel movie at that. It's really exceptional and really special. And I think he's really amazing in the movie. He adds so much depth to his character, and it says so much. From what I understand, he had free reign to kind of help develop that character, and I'm really glad they gave him that, because he's so brilliant in the movie. Truly brilliant. I am so glad he got to play Wenwu. He is so good. Check it out. The Alpinist. This is definitely the most underseen movie on my list. It only has like 4.4 thousand ratings on IMDb. I think only 1,000 ratings on Letterboxd. And that is criminal because Peter Mortimer and Nick Rosen, the co-directors of this movie, make such an incredible documentary that is not just a fascinating look at the art, the hobby of alpinism, not just a movie where you get these really incredible action shots of people climbing, but more importantly, it's a story about a man, and that man is Marc-Andre Leclerc. I don't want to say too much about that, but just the kind of person Mark is in this documentary is a really special kind of person. He is a fascinating figure, a very lovable figure, and I understand why this documentary was made by him. It's heartwarming, it'll make you cry, it's going to make you sit on the edge of your seat with tension because he's doing these crazy climbing moves, and it's all beautifully shot by the team that made this movie. It's really unexpected because this team is usually known for making movies for climbing enthusiasts. They make these annual climbing movies. But this one, they really stretched their feet out and made a really great, really special documentary. I don't know where you can watch it, but go seek it out. I promise you, this movie's really great. And I'm so glad I got to see it on a big screen. Ron's Gone Wrong is probably the hardest I've cried at a movie all year. It's a really emotional movie with really emotional moments that show this friendship, this beautiful blossoming friendship between a man and machine, or a boy and his machine. Not his blob, but his machine, if you will. It has a really interesting art style that has this sort of almost like carved out of wood figurine feel to it. And in general, it's just eye candy. I wouldn't have expected one of my favorite Disney movies of the year to come from not Pixar or Walt Disney Animation Studios, but from newcomers. But Ron's Gone Wrong is an excellent first feature from this studio. The performances across the board are stellar. Directors Sarah Smith, Jean-Philippe Vine, and co-director Octavio E. Rodriguez all bring something really incredible to this movie. It's such a feast for your eyes. It's really heartwarming. It's a great movie you can show your kid, but you can also enjoy yourself. It's the perfect family movie. I really recommend you see it. It breaks my heart that it bombed at the box office like I did. Go check it out. Encanto. Wow. Every time I think I'm done with Walt Disney Animation, I'm done with them. I've seen enough. They don't know how to make cool, exciting stuff anymore. They've lost their way. They give me something like Encanto, which is the best Disney movie since Moana to prove to me that I don't really know what I'm talking about. That they are the most legendary animation studio probably for a reason. What a beautiful, beautiful movie. Some of the most gorgeous animation in a Pixar movie. Not a Pixar movie, Disney movie. And the attention to detail is top-notch, as it always is with these Walt Disney Animation Studio movies. More importantly, what a beautiful story about generational trauma. I don't really see that in a family movie, really. And to see that portrayed so lovingly, so accurately, with respect to that kind of subject matter, is a really powerful thing to see in a movie. And it also helps that it has some absolutely banging music from Lin-Manuel Miranda, who, listen, we talk about it in Tick, Tick, Boom a bit. We also talk about it in The Heights. I love the way he makes his music. I love his style. I love everything about the way he composes. And all the songs here are no pressure. We don't talk about Bruno, no. Being a standout. But I also loved Surface Pressure. And I really loved Waiting on a Miracle. The classic I Want song from your Disney princess type character. I really, really, really love that song because there was something about it that kind of hit me right here in that sense about wanting. Yeah, pretty powerful song and moment. It's just a really incredible movie in general. It's beautiful. Nobody does it like Disney do. Go check it out. It's on Disney+. Don't Look Up! That's right, perhaps the single most divisive movie of the year is my number 12 of the year. Adam McKay. What an interesting director that Adam McKay is. He started to turn serious in 2015 with The Big Short, and The Big Short is my favorite movie of 2015. I love The Big Short. Then he followed it up a few years later with Vice. I do not like Vice. So when I first saw the trailers for this movie and heard about this movie, I didn't know what to expect. So when I finally saw it in theaters about early December, I didn't know what I thought at first. I needed to sleep on it, and when I woke up the next morning, I went, nope, that is one of the best movies I've seen all year. Is it funny? Yes, I laughed throughout. There are a couple of standout bits, but for the most part, it's the kind of movie where you're just kind of always like laughing at. Performances across the board are really great. I want to shout out Rob Morgan as Dr. Teddy Oglethorpe. Probably the biggest, most meatiest role he's been given at this high visibility level, and he really nails it. It feels less like a satire and more just an accurate reflection of what would happen in real life if a giant meteorite was heading towards Earth. Which is terrifying and depressing. But I can't say it's wrong. As sad as that is, but it's really great. I really like it. Will you like it? I don't know. Man, I don't know. Will you? It's a very divisive movie for a reason, but I think it's at least worth checking out. It's on Netflix, so get to it. Coda was the last cut I made out of my top 10, and it was a really tough choice to make because I loved Coda. For the last 30 minutes, my eyes were full of tears. Okay? What a heartwarming movie this one is, right? Truly, truly heartwarming. Truly, truly beautiful. It's a movie about family. About people who are othered. And as someone who is the othered in my family, because of my autism, it kind of hit notes that felt familiar to me. And Cian Hedder develops this picture that so just makes you smile, you know? Makes you smile, makes you want to root for it, it makes you want to cheer for it, makes you want to say, go! 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 Like you're cheering on a sports team. The performances across the board are incredible. I want to shout out Emilia Jones as the lead, Ruby, who is just really great in this movie. True breakout type performance, one of the best of the year, and really just helps carry this movie. But the standout performance of the year, and it is my favorite performance from a supporting actor this year, is Troy Kotsur as her father, Frank. Oh, man. Where has Hollywood been hiding this guy this whole time? Why hasn't he been given this chance before? Because this guy is a gifted actor. He is a truly gifted actor. Just incredible. It blows my mind that Hollywood's been hiding this guy because he's deaf. And listen, I get it. I understand you're not going to get the same kind of career opportunities. It's unfair, but I get it. But man, I really hope this brings new things to Troy Kotsur's door, because he is such a gifted actor and deserves every opportunity and award imaginable. If he doesn't win Best Supporting Actor at the Oscars, I'm a throw a fit, alright? I'm gonna be outside the Academy's doorstep saying, Krusty Krab is unfair. Troy Kotsur is not in there, kind of thing. But this movie's really great. It's on Apple Plus, alright? It's on Apple Plus, so go check it out. It's probably the best movie they have on there. Alright guys, I'm sure you're very excited to hear me talk about my top 10 here next. But before we do that, we're going to take a brief commercial break. No Time to Die is my 10th favorite movie of the year, and probably my favorite James Bond movie. Why? It has maybe the most emotional resonance of any James Bond movie. Now, don't get me wrong, I still love Skyfall, GoldenEye, and On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and maybe if you call me on the right day, I'd say one of those is my favorite. But this one got me here, got me right here. A director and co-writer, along with 3 other peers, Cary Joji Fukunaga, is maybe a man who was born to direct a James Bond movie, because he's really good in this one. He has such an expert control over to the trajectory of James Bond in this movie. It's very precise, but it feels pretty unique. I loved it, Daniel Craig gives his best turn as Bond. Lea Seydoux gives an incredible turn as Madeline Swan. A lot better than the last movie, where I didn't think they really had a lot of chemistry. But for some reason in this movie, it's gotten so much better. They have a lot of chemistry now, and I'm just wondering, where was that the entire time? Where was that in all of Spectre? I don't know, but it's here. I like Rami Malek as Safan, the villain. It's a little one-note, I won't lie, but I think it really works for what the movie is, and it feels like he's more of a metaphorical villain in a sense. The rest of the supporting cast is stellar. Shout out to Rory Kinnear, who plays a character named Tanner. That got me hyped. Ooh. But yeah, the action set pieces are as great as ever. The chase scenes are as great as ever. The Bond quips are as great as ever, and I'm sure Phoebe Waller-Bridge had a big hand in writing those quips. But in general, it's just such a great movie. I had such a blast with it. It's so good. It's so good. It's probably my favorite James Bond movie. It's definitely my favorite James Bond movie of 2021. Go check it out. The Mitchells versus the Machines. So, is Sony, the best at making animated movies now? Because between this and Into the Spider-Verse, and I've heard a lot of great things about Vivo, they have a really impressive catalog these past few years now, don't they? Where was this? I guess it was showing up in Bubbles with Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, Phil Lord and Chris Miller being some of the best directors of the 21st century so far, at least in terms of animation and live action, that sort of hybrid. But beyond that, God, what a great movie, right? It's a feast for the eyes. It's a beautiful movie about family. Deals with a lot of the same technological themes that Ron's Gone Wrong does, but deals with it more from a family angle as opposed to a friendship angle. But it's still really, really great, obviously. It's my 9th favorite movie of the year. I love the way it looks. There were so much little details, little details packed into every single frame. I feel like you can notice something new each time you watch it. Michael Rianda and Jeff Rowe deliver a great movie that is just a lot of fun. It's really heartwarming. It has some good action scenes, and you're gonna laugh your butt off the entire time. I promise you that, alright? It's on Netflix. Go check it out. West Side Story is Spielberg's best movie since Catch Me If You Can. Wow! Wow! What a really incredible, gorgeous movie. Janice. Oh, Janice. Spielberg's usual DP and partner in crime with these movies. Janice Kaminsky does maybe some of the best work of his entire career here. Every frame is a literal painting. Every performer, with the exception of Ansel Elgort, but I still think he's pretty good, does such an incredible job. Rachel Zegler is a revelation. Ariana DeBose is probably going to win an Oscar for it. They had to find David Alvarez in, like, the woods for this movie. God, where do I begin? The choreography, immaculate. The movie is gorgeous. Spielberg has so much passion and love for the medium, and you feel it in every shot. The Maria sequence in particular, where these apartment lights turning on that almost look like spotlights, really stood out to me. Spielberg is a master of the game, a master of the craft, and this is his best movie in 20 years. It's a really special movie, and I really love it. Stephen Sondheim would have been proud. I really hope he got a chance to see it before he passed. I really do. I don't know if he did, but I hope he did. God, what a great movie. And to think there are 2 musicals ahead of it. But go check this one out right now. Flea! Who would have thought my favorite animated movie of the year and my favorite documentary of the year would be the same movie? That was an unexpected twist. Flea is a really special movie, and I really mean that it's special. It's a beautifully moving tale about a man who was a refugee and the sort of trials and tribulations he had to go through. And it's beautifully retold in this animatic animation style that is dreamlike, even, which I felt is very accurate considering when you recall things, they almost feel very dreamlike. What a really moving, powerful film. I cried a lot. It really made me feel things. Just a really powerful movie. I think the filmmakers did just an incredible job with this one. Go check it out. The beta test. Now, we're actually going to be doing a podcast on this one in early March, so stay tuned for that. So I'm not going to get too in-depth, but Jim Cummings is one of my favorite filmmakers alive right now. I think he's incredibly talented as a writer, a director, and an actor, and this movie is no different. Him and PJ McCrabb do incredible work here as a duo. This movie is really funny, really interesting, it's really engaging, it has a great mystery, it has a great narrative, it's just a really great movie. And it's insane to think it was shot for $300,000 because this movie looks better than some movies that cost $200 million, okay? So, probably the best indie movie of the year. It's either... No, second best indie movie because the next one's probably my favorite indie movie. But this one's really special. I don't think I need to give Jim Cummings a marketing boost because I think he does an incredible job of marketing himself and getting his name and his work out there and promoting other filmmakers in general. But yeah, what an incredible movie this is. It's funny, it's beautiful, it's filled with great performances, especially from Jim Cummings, who delivers one of my favorite performances of the year. It's just a great movie in general. Go check it out. Mass. I don't have a ton to say about this one, other than it's the best original screenplay of the year, and it has some of the most engaging, incredible, and best performances in a movie all year, and it has 4 of them. It has 4 of the best performances of all year. A true ensemble piece. Some people say it feels more like a stage play. Sure, I guess it does. But I don't know. I feel like it really takes advantage of the film medium really well and allows us to see these close-ups that we really want to get, because it's a small movie, it's a subtle movie. I don't think if you bigged it up onto the stage, I don't think it would play quite as well. I think this is a movie that is designed for the film experience, for that camera experience. I don't want to say too much about it because I think the less you know going in, the more emotionally impactful it's going to be. So, really, what I'm trying to say here is go watch it, okay? The next 4 movies on my list are big blockbusters that you already know that you want to see or not. If I can implore you to watch at least one movie from this video, if you watch this video and you say, I'm going to watch one movie from it, make it this one, okay? Make it this one. So, In the Heights. This entry and the 3 entries after it are all movies we've done podcast on, so don't worry, I'm going to be a bit brief with these next few entries. In short, I think this is probably the best directed movie of the year. Every musical set piece is amazingly fun and engaging. I think this movie will make you laugh. This movie will make you cry. This movie will make you want to get up and dance. This movie makes you want to sit down and think. Really, it's just such a packed movie. It packs so much into its 2.5-hour runtime that it doesn't feel like 2.5 hours. I think David Ulrich's review said it best. It would have made you feel like the movies were back even if they never left in the first place. Go check it out. Spider-Man No Way Home. Wow. Not the best Spider-Man movie, but for sure the ultimate Spider-Man movie. It brings in a lot of legacy characters. I'm not going to get too into that because I'm not going spoilers in this video, but you can go down to the description and check out the podcast we did with Eric Striffler on this one if you want to hear more of my thoughts on the movie in spoilerific detail. But this movie has heart, right? It has a lot of heart, but it also has a lot of fun. It has a lot of everything you want to see in a superhero movie. And it's the fact that Peter is a kid that just is willing to sacrifice everything to do the right thing, which ultimately ties into my greater belief about what superheroes are. A lot of people point at superheroes as a bad thing and say, they're power fantasies, they're power fantasies. No, I don't think that. I think superheroes are benevolence fantasies. People love that somebody would do the right thing time and time again, no matter what. That's why people love superheroes. And that's why people love Spider-Man. And this movie is ultimately a celebration of Spider-Man in the cinematic art form. It's a great time. It's an emotional time. It's just an amazing movie in general. Go check it out. Boom! Perhaps my favorite movie musical of all time. Which really goes to show how great number 1 on this list is if my best favorite of a genre can't even make the top of the list. Wow. What can I say that I didn't already say on the podcast we did on it, linked in the description. All the set pieces are great. It's an incredible directorial debut from Lin-Manuel Miranda. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it makes you cry, and it's really relatable. If you do art, if you're an artist and struggling, go watch this movie, because this movie understands the pain and the anxieties you must deal with in a very real way. And it's a beautiful celebration of John Larson, a man who was taken from us far too soon and had potential to leave such a tremendous more impact than he got the chance to do. And Andrew Garfield brings Larson back to life in such a beautiful way. Every nod, every tick of the head. But it's more than just mimicry. It's a real character. It feels like a real character. He learned to sing for this movie, and it paid off in spades. It's a career-defining performance from Andrew Garfield. And it is, in my opinion, the best performance from anyone this year. He is so good in this movie. Great debut from Lin-Manuel Miranda. It's a fantastic movie in general. It's on Netflix, man. Go check it out. Eternals. If you watch the podcast on it, you already know it. It is a beautiful celebration of humanity. It is one of the most beautiful looking Marvel movies I've ever seen. It is a celebration of superheroes as a benevolence fantasy. Because the true heroes in this movie, the ones you really root for, they're the ones that care about doing the right thing, of doing good. Not just because it's good, but more because of their love for humanity. I truly believe that humanity is a beautiful species, and I think about it every day of just how remarkable it is that we made it this far, that we're here, and that we're alive, and that movies like Eternals can be made. That this movie exists. That any of these 25 movies exist. All these in different ways showcase humanity in its ugliest and its most beautiful. And I can't think of a more fitting movie to top the list than the one that just openly says humanity is good, even if parts of it are ugly. This is a truly, truly special movie, and I can't recommend it enough. It's on Disney Plus now, so if you were hesitant because of the bad reviews, I get it. If you're hesitant because it seems too dense, I get it, I do. But I really do think it's special. It's my new favorite MCU movie. It's one of my favorite superhero movies ever made. And it's my favorite movie of 2021. Go check it out. And that's all I got. Those were my top 25 movies of the year. It was really, I had a lot of fun ranking them. Before we get into the outro, I want to shout out my friend Jorge Carnero. I'm going to be linking his Instagram below. He's the guy that designed all of the posters you've been seeing on the left side of the screen here. He's an incredibly talented artist, a graphic designer. He does a lot of great work. Go follow him on Instagram. And I want to thank him again for designing those posters. And I want to thank you for watching this video. Thank you for watching. Go down in the comment section below. Let me know. What do you think of my top 25 movies of 2021? Do you think I'm crazy? Do you think I'm a genius? What are your favorite movies of the year? I really want to know that. Tell me, what is your favorite movie of the year? Please tell me. I want to know. And while you're down there, please go ahead and hit the like button so we know how much you like us. Hit the subscribe button so you know how much you love us. And hit the bell icon so you can know exactly when we upload new videos. Thank you all so very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.
Just slid my ticket across the table and I said, "Sorry guys, I gotta see about a girl."